Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, hello, sir.
Nice to see you again. How are you today?
I'm great, and how about you?
I'm really good. Thank you for asking. And how was your day so far? What did you do today?
So today I went to school to
Mm-hmm.
I played basketball with my friends.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Very nice. And what else did you do? Okay. What else did you do? Okay. Played basketball. What else did you do? What did you do yesterday? Can you please tell me? What did you do yesterday?
I went to the church and go to an English extra class.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now we will start. We will start. We have here a really nice and interesting lesson. Okay, now I want to ask you about the weather. Now, can you please tell me what type of the weather do you like? What type of the weather is your favorite?
I think that's sunny
And why sunny weather?
because it's good to go out and have fun with friends.
Okay, and what type of the weather you don't like it? What is the type of the weather that you don't like it?
I think that rainy because when the weather is raining, I can't go out to play with anyone, and it's not convenient for me to go out to buy something or to go somewhere.
hmm Okay, and how and what other type of the weather? What other type of the weather do you is usually like now in your country? What is the type of the weather that is usually right now in your country?
That's in the north and center of my country is rainy, but in the uh, but in the south of my country, that's sunny.
Sunny. Okay. And what can you do? For example, what are your favorite activities that you usually like to do in this type of the weather? What type of the activities do you usually like to do?
Um, when the weather is sunny, I usually go out to play basketball with my friends or buying some things.
Okay. Like what? What other activities you can do? What are some other activities that you can do?
Um, I think I can do some exercises in the park like running, uh, uh, yoga, walking, or play badminton.
Play badminton. Okay. And how often do you usually you like to play badminton when you play badminton? So how often do you usually like to play badminton?
There's once or twice a week.
Okay. Now, question two. Can you please read the question two? Can you please read the question
What
two?
kind of,
How do you
how, how do you or your family check the weather forecast?
mm-hmm. So how do you check the weather forecast?
We uh, we watch them on the TV.
Okay, so you watch the weather forecast on TV. Okay, and what is the weather forecast now, for example, for the next 7 days in your country? What is the weather forecast? Okay, for example, in so can you please tell me weather forecast in your country?
Um,
The weather
no,
forecast.
that actually in the south of my country it's sunny now, but in the central and the north of Vietnam it's rainy now and it has a flood now there.
Okay, and how often flood happens in your country? How often, for example, flood happens in your country?
That a few times a year,
Mm-hmm.
uh, less than 5 times a year.
Five. Okay, less than five
Uh,
times a year. Okay, and what can people can do when there is a flood? A flood. What is something that people usually can do?
That they can stay at home, wait until there's some s- people that help them, and
Hmm. People can help them. How they can people can help them? How, for example, people can help them in this type of the situations.
that they can use a boat to come to their houses and give them some food, some water to for living.
Okay, and question number three.
What is the weather usually like at this time of year where you live?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's sunny now and a bit cloudy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and what is the temperature right now?
That's nearly the winter.
No temperature. Is it cold? Is it what? Okay, how many degrees is the temperature? It's so how many degrees? Is it 10 degrees, 15 degrees? How many degrees Celsius?
Uh, about more than 20 degrees.
Celsius. Can you say more than
More than
than
20 Celsius degree.
degree? Okay, very nice. And what activities you can do when there is this type of the temperature? What is something that you can do?
Um, we just stay at home and uh, playing with each other.
Mhm. Okay, so this is something that you can do. Now we have here picture A, B, and C. So what can you see? What can you see in these pictures? Can you please tell me? What is something that you can see here in these pictures?
There's a
Picture.
volcano.
Okay, please say the long sentence. City. Let's try to speak more. I can see. I can see.
Uh, in the picture, I can see a volcanic eruption.
Are you afraid of volcanic eruption? Okay, do you feel afraid of volcanic eruption?
Yes, I'm really afraid of volcanic eruption
Because.
because I can't know when will it happen.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and what activities you can do? For example, how you can escape from volcanic eruption? What can you do if you want to escape from volcanic eruption?
I think I can reserve some food.
Mm-hmm.
Stay away from them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and picture two. What can you see in the picture B? Sorry, what can you see in picture B?
In picture B, I can see the weather is
Mm-hmm.
raining.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now let's see. Okay, so and what do you think about this type of the weather? How often this type of the weather is happening in your country?
Um, Actually, this weather is quite. It comes suddenly. We can usually like it's erratic.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And picture C, what can you see in picture C?
Um, in picture B, I can
C,
see.
C.
Um, in picture C, I can see the weather is snowing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what do you think about this weather?
Um, I think it's quite cold, but I want to
Mm-hmm.
try once because in my country it's so hard to see the snow just in some miles in the north of Vietnam have it.
Mm. Okay. Now let's see. And which of this type of the weather is less favorite?
I think that's volcanic eruption
Mm-hmm. Volcanic eruption. And why?
because it's so dangerous from everyone surrounded. So
Mm-hmm.
everyone's scared of this.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, and picture D, what can you see in picture D?
In Bitter D, I can see the landslide.
Mm-hmm. What is happening here? So, what do you think? What is something that is happening here?
Yes, it makes lots of buildings fell down.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how people can stop this? What is something that people can do if they want to stop this?
Um, I think people can stop it. Just wait um, until it stops
Mm-hmm. And why?
because because of the environment surround this, so people can do anything to stop it.
Mm-hmm. Do anything to stop it. Okay, now let's see, and now we have here. Okay, these sentences. Now let's try. Okay, we need to fill these blanks. Okay, so take a screenshot of this vocabulary. Can you take a screenshot? This is something that we will need.
Yes.
Okay, now let's try to read the sentence number one. Can you please read the sentence number one?
The speaker talked about there was no power in the city because the
Okay, the
wind
speaker talked about what? The speaker talked about. Okay, what can you put here? Okay, we can put. Okay, for example, what would you put in of this vocabulary that you have offered here? So, what would you put here?
um, a flood.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So,
Um,
and okay,
uh,
and okay, and what do you think? What do you think about sentence number two? Can you please read the sentence number two?
there was no power in the city because the wind blew so hard.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Next one.
There was a lightning storm. The speaker saw a fire. um,
Fire, lightning. Fire, lightning.
fire, lightning, uh,
Okay.
slow.
Mm-hmm. Next one.
There was a flood where the speaker lives. There was so much rain that the river flowed by 2 meters.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Number seven. So, what can you say about number seven?
Is snowstorm for hours.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's okay. Now, next one.
Uh, Dirty water poured along the street.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is something that happens. Okay. Now let's see. And okay. And we have here. Okay. The next sentence, number nine.
The speaker experienced a big uh, earthquake.
Mm-hmm. Violently. Violently. Oh, okay. Next sentence.
The crowd fell down violently.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And okay. And the many buildings.
No, the crowd shook violently and many buildings fell down.
Many buildings fall down. Okay. Now let's take a look. Okay. So we have here this Australian bushfires. Okay. Now can you please read from here to the end.
Australia's wildfires, or burst fires as they are known, happen every year and have an effect on large areas of the country. Some fires are caused of purpose, some by accident, and others start because of natural causes, such as lightning. The hot, dry climate keeps fires burning, and they can cause a lot of damage, both to property and to life. However, the fires have become an essential part of the country's ecology. All wood is cleared away when it burns, and after the fire, the soil contains a lot of good nutrients which help plants grow and keep the forest healthy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what is happening in this text that you read about?
There's about the
Mm-hmm.
bushfires in Australia.
In Australia. Okay. And what do you think about fires?
I think they're so dangerous for people and the environment.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And why? What? And how can people can stop this?
I think they can use the water or a lot of sense to stop it.
Mhm. Okay, and how about in your country? Is there any fires of something that is happening like this in your country?
That's
There's what?
um no nowadays there's any fire happened in my country.
And what would you do? Okay, what people can do if there is a fire?
Um, People can call to the firefighter to need help and uh, bring everything that's necessary for you to run away.
Hmm. To run away. And where would you run away?
Stay away from the place that have a fire.
Hmm. Okay. Okay, very nice. Now that is quite nice. Okay, and can you write 5 sentences? What would you do in this type of the situation? Can you try to write 5 sentences about if there is a fire? So what would you do? Can you do that, please?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, often.
Okay, can you please read?
If there was a fire, I would stay calm and raise a lamp. Then I would shout, call people and call the firefighters immediately. Turn off the power to the fire to avoid the electric shock. Try to use fire extinguisher to stop it. Finally, if the fire is too big, bring valuable items with me and stay away from that place.
Mhm. Okay. So now we have here. Okay. Now let's try to fill these blanks. Okay, just one moment, please. Okay, so we will fill these blanks here. Okay. Now, can you please read this text?
In the past, summer fires were common in Australia. Now, because of climate change, there's an even higher than there used to be, and they are larger too. Recently, one fire grew so powerful that it tornadoed nearly 500 meters wide. It destroyed many homes and in the capital city, Canberra. These unlucky houses were situated less than 100 meters from a large pine tree on the edge of the city. Several individual fires started burning and
Sorry, just one moment. Sorry.
yes, no problem.
Mhm.
Burning and because it was difficult for firefighters to them, they continued to burn. When the wind split suddenly, a few days later, the fires joined together. Scientists now this Australia's first fire tornado. This was an extremely rare in Australia's history and was brought us by storm which accompanied the fire.
Mhm. Okay, so what do you think? What do you think? Why fires happen all around the world? Why, for example, fires happen all around the world? What is the reason for that?
That's because accident when you use an oven or a cooker.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and how people can stop the fire? Okay, what is something that people can do if they want to stop the fire?
Um, when the fire is just small, you can use an extinguisher or an uh,
Mm-hmm. Okay,
uh,
so this
um,
is this is something that people can do. Okay, and what other natural disasters are common, for example, in your country? Are there any other natural disasters that are common in your country?
um, I think no, it's just
Mm-hmm.
almost is only because of the accident when you use the cooker when you're making a meal.
Make a meal. Okay, now let's see. Okay, and when do people usually talk about the weather? So, what do you think? When, for example, people usually talk about the weather?
Just about
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
rainy or sunny.
when, for example, people wants to talk about the weather, what is in which situations people usually talk about the weather?
Um, when they need to go out, they will talk about the weather or what the weather forecast to know that is the weather good to go out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Now let's see. Okay. And what do you think? What do you think about question number two? Can you please read the question number two?
What problems do extreme weather conditions cause for people? Why?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That they can um, cause flood, landslide, they can make an
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now let's see. You can make it. Okay. And how you can make it? Okay. So what is something that you can do, for example, in these situations?
um I think just reserve the foods and run away from the dangerous place.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now run away. And where would you run away in these situations? Where would you run away?
If there was if there's a flood, you can run away to higher places.
Okay, so you can run away from the higher places. Okay, and why? Okay, why would you do that?
Because when the was a flood, the water is will be uh, higher and higher, so you have to go to the higher places.
Okay, so now let's see. Okay, so you can go to the higher places. Okay, and what other activities? Okay, what else can you do? For example, if you go to the higher places.
Yes, we can bring the result first with you and uh, wait until there is a rescue team.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. So this is okay. This is something that you can do it. Now we have here. We have here. Okay. And what when you have, for example, flood. When there is a flood in your country, what can you do?
Um, think there's a flood boat and they can use a boat to help the other people or use them to go to the other places.
Other places. Okay. And what activities you can do? Okay. What can you do? How you can run away from the flood? What can you do if you want to run away from the flood? If you want to go and run away from the flood, what can you do? How can you run away?
I think that check the weather forecast normally and it can like predict an advance before the flood happen so you can run away at that time.
hmm Okay, and the last question. Can you please read the last question?
Will people ever be able to control the weather? Why not?
So, what do you think?
I think maybe not people won't be able to control the weather because that's the environment and it happens suddenly. You
hmm
can predict an advance, so you can't, um, you won't never, you will never control them.
Okay, and if people invent some machines to control the weather, so what do you think about this? If people can control the weather by using some machines.
I think that maybe will take a long time in the future to invent that machine
Because.
because people has talked about this problem for many years, but no one can invent some machine that useful for humans to control the weather. So I think it will take a long time in the future.
Mhm. Okay, now let's see. And what do you think? What do you think about rivers? How people can protect rivers?
I think that people can don't litter into the rivers and just don't litter into the river.
Mhm. Okay, and how? Okay, can you write 5 sentences? How would you protect the river? Can you do?
Um,
Or can you do that, please?
yes, yes, often.
Okay. Can you read, please?
Things we can do to protect rivers. Don't litter into the river. Save the water in daily life. Clean up the rivers. Stop using plastic bottles. Save clean water.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so those are things that we can do. Okay, and why some people uh, want to do to want to okay put the garbage in the river? Why this is happening? So what do you think?
Um, I think that's because it's so convenient. People just eat and then put the garbage in the river. Don't need to go along to come to the trash bin and put them in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. And when was the last time? When was the last time, for example, that you saw that someone is doing something like this?
I think that a few days ago, when I am going home, I saw a I saw a man who is putting the garbage into the grass.
Mhm. Okay, so this is okay. And what else is happening here? Okay, so what else can happen here? Can you please tell me?
There's he just put them in uh, into the grass and go out.
Mm-hmm. Go out. And why, okay, and why people should do something like this? Why? What is the reason?
Because it doesn't take a long time to put them into the trash bin.
Trash bin. Okay. Now let's see. Okay, now and what do you think about okay, what do you think about okay, we have here flood in your country. Okay, are there many houses that are destroyed in your country? Okay, when there is a flood, okay, are there many houses that are destroyed in your country?
Yes, there are many houses destroyed in my country.
And how people can protect this house? What is something that happened that people can protect these houses?
Mm, I think we can destroy these houses because
Mm-hmm.
about the landslide and the flood, it destroyed all the houses, so we can stop it and can protect these houses.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, and how about strong winds in your country? Okay, so are there any strong winds in your country?
Yes, there are some strong winds in my country.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now let's see, and how people can protect themselves from the strong winds. Can you please tell me what is something that people can protect themselves because of the strong winds?
If there's a strong wind, I think people can stay at home and don't go out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and why is important for people to not go out? Why?
I think because when you go out when there was a strong wind, it can take you along.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now let's see. And how often do you have in your country? Do you have strong winds? So, how often, for example, do you have strong winds in your country?
There's so many times a year because uh, every year my country has a lot of storms, and storms usually go with the strong winds.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and what would you do, for example, what people can do when there are strong winds? Okay, to protect themselves. So, what is something that people can do if they want to protect themselves from the strong winds?
Um, I think the best ways to protect themselves from a strong wind is stay at home.
Hmm. Okay. And how about some other natural disasters in your country? What other natural disasters often happen in your country?
I think that landslide, flood, and thunderstorm.
Thunderstorm. Okay. And how often does it happen?
There's so many times a year.
Okay. Now, can you write 5 sentences about the last time that this happened? And you used that there was a thunderstorm in your country. Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, often.
Okay. Can you please read?
Uh, the thunderstorms in Vietnam are common, particularly during the rainy season and storms, and can bring dangerous heavy rainfall. leading to flash floods and landslides. Major urban centers like Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi have experienced damage from falling trees and widespread flooding caused by these storms. The intensity can be so great that it causes property damage and disrupts transportation.
Transportation. Okay, and what type of the transportations are common in your country?
There's motorbike and cars.
Okay, so what type of transportations?
There's motorbikes and cars
Mm-hmm.
like road tra- road traffics.
And what type of transportation do you usually like to use? What is the type of transportation that you usually like to use?
I think there's motorbike because it's so convenient for me to use and um, it's so small. You can go through some small roads.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is something that you can use. How often? Can you please tell me how often do you usually like to use motorbike? So how often?
Um, I always use motorbike.
Mm-hmm. How often? How often do you usually like to use? Once a week, twice a week, 5 times a week. So how often do you usually like to use?
There's every day of the week because I use them to go to school.
Okay, so this is how often do you like? Okay, and what other types of transportation do you can use it? What are some other types of transportation that you like to use it?
There's the cars, the plane when I go traveling.
Okay, when you go traveling. Okay, and where do you usually like to travel? If you travel, so where, for example, do you usually like to go?
I usually like to go to some place that have the beautiful beach, beautiful views, and some places have
Oh,
really good, really delicious food.
delicious food. Okay, sweetie, we finished the class. I have to go now because I have another class, but I definitely want to see you next time. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. See you on Wednesday. Bye bye. See you next time.
Well, goodbye, teacher. Have a great day.